going on, everyone? Welcome to the RabidMining YouTube channel, and today we're checking out the RTX. Aha, I'm just kidding. This is not an RTX. This is a CPU far greater and superior than a GPU, at least for profitability anyways. So this is the AMD 7950x Ryzen CPU. I have done past tests on Monero, the Ghostwriter algorithm, which does consider of like Raptorium, Bitorium, Jagger coin, and all sorts of other coins like that. But today, we're going to be checking out Dero. So a few things about Dero before we get into some quick testing here in terms of power and hash rates. Dero is a privacy coin and decentralized. So by decentralized, Captain, the head dev there, or I guess maybe the only dev, I'm not 100% sure who's all the devs on it, but he highly encourages running your own node when mining it. This is set up totally different than previous coins that anyone knows. So also there are a couple pools out there, but again, Captain says he is not supporting them. Other members of the community built it themselves. You can use those, but I have done 2 or 3 random tests that time with 5 separate 3900X CPUs, and every single time running your own node is the most profitable way to mine Dero. Also, just like we do find in the Ghostwriter algorithm, utilizing a single stick is the exact same hash rate as 2 sticks and XMP, or I guess in this case, Expo profiles on and off. So I'm going to start this off with 2 sticks of RAM in. We'll try Expo on, we'll try Expo off. I'll run through the numbers and show you, but the sticks of RAM does not matter when it comes to mining Dero. Now I will be running through 2 miners here. There are 2 separate miners that you can utilize to mine Dero. One is the default and another one was made by a Dero community member. Now, one is, your normal hash rate, and the other one is almost double the hash rate. But there are reports stating that using the normal miner, you actually get more blocks. Now, I have not tested that theory out yet. I do plan on trying them out once the new miner is available for HiveOS, because that is where all my rigs are. But until that happens, I cannot test it. But I will be running through the hash rates, and we'll see what it looks like across both miners, as well as profitability of Dero today. All right, so first test, I do have 2 sticks of RAM in. Expo profile is turned off. That means no overclocking on the RAM at all. And I'm hanging out at my efficient setting that I do use to mine myself at about 4.05 gigahertz at 0.9 volts. So this is an all-core overclock. We're going to minimize this. We see our temperatures around 46 to 47 degrees here. We're just going to take this down, look at our hash rates. Now, based on the hash rates, we're doing about 9.9 kilohash, not too bad. We're using about 123, the high 123s to 104 watts here. And on a 5950X, when I was kind of running through some numbers, I never did do a video on Dero yet, but it's at about 3.6 all-core overclock and 0.95 volts. It's around the same 115 to 120 watt range at 8 kilohash. So this is a nice efficient setting I find for the 7950X. It's using a little bit more power, but we're getting an extra 1 to 1.9 kilohash here. So that's quite a big jump here. That's a lot of hash rate for something like Dero. Now, I also just finished telling you about pools at the beginning of this. I am utilizing Hanson's pool here for these tests, because if I did use my own node, then you guys would see some of my IPs and stuff. And I didn't want you guys to see that. So if you're trying to, put a comment down there saying, I thought you said run a node instead, it's more profitable. It is, but for testing wise, I didn't want you to see a bunch of my IP info. So I am utilizing a pool just for this testing purposes. All right, so same settings as before, our 4.05 gigahertz at 0.95 volts. We are now upwards on the new miner, 14.5 to 15 kilohash. So it's not quite double. It's about 80%, 75 to 80% extra. So a nice boost there. We are up about 3 to 4 watts here. We're hovering around maybe even 5 watts, 128 to 129 watts now at the wall here. So we did gain a nice boost in hash rate. Again, I have not fully tested this to see if it legitly is giving you this type of hash rate or if it's just something reporting. I will be probably renting 2 nodes or some, 2 VPNs. We'll see what happens. And then I will be putting an X amount of rigs with the new miner as well as the original miner to see what does actually perform better. But that's going to be somewhere down the road here. All right, guys, so here we are. We are now enabling Expo 2. So we do have the XMP, the RAM overclocking profile turned on. Same settings, 4.05 gigahertz, or I guess 0.055 at 0.90008 volts. Exact same settings we were at. Power consumption is currently looking like 134 watts. So we are using more power. And for hash rates, we're sitting at 9.9. So we are still utilizing pretty much the exact same hash rate as we had previously, except now we're using more power and our temperatures are, where are our temperatures? 47.6. We're slightly higher as well. We were pushing high 46s, low 47s, and now our temps up. So our temps up, power's up, hash rate is exactly the same utilizing XMP, or I guess Expo profiles on your RAM. So like I said at the beginning of this video, overclocking your RAM does not matter. All right, and here we are with the new miner. We're still hanging out at the 14 to 15.5 to 15.9 peaks here, 15.6 kilohash, exact same hash rates. We're going to come in at about 140 to 141 watts. So we're using, again, yet more power, utilizing the XMP profile. And we are a little bit warmer as well at 49C. So again, as you can see, overclocking your RAM for Dero has zero effect unless you want to waste more power. Okay, guys, so here we are. We have the exact same settings again, 4.055 gigahertz, 0.9 volts. I have a single stick, so only one stick of RAM in, and Expo profile is turned off, so no overclocking on the RAM. We're utilizing about 121 watts at the wall. We're sitting at 46 degrees, and we still have a hash rate of 9.9 kilohash. So our hash rate has not really changed at all through the various settings of overclocking our RAM and using one stick or two sticks of RAM. So just like we see with Ghost Rider, Raptorium, and those other coins, depending on the algorithm, you only need a single stick of RAM and you don't have to do any type of overclocking, or it just leads to utilizing more power. All right, and here we are with the new miner. Exact same settings, single stick of RAM. We're sitting at 47 degrees. We're utilizing about 127 watts at the wall. So again, just like we've seen, slightly more power. And again, we're sitting at pretty much the exact same hash rate. So 15.4, 0.7, upwards of 15.9 every once in a while. I average this out at about 15.6 kilohash. All right, so let's just do a quick recap of everything we have seen so far. So at 4.05 gigahertz and 0.95 volts, whether it's two RAM sticks, XMP profile off, or Expo profile off, two sticks with it on, a single stick with it off, we have pretty much the exact same hash rate here, 9.9 kilohash on the old miner and 15.6 kilohash on the new miner. Our temperatures vary a little bit, but overall they're pretty much exactly the same. The only real difference between changing all the RAM settings around is our power consumption, where we can see the single stick down here is still our most efficient setting. A single stick with XMP profile off is 121 watts, complete full system. That's your motherboard, RAM, PSU, cooler, everything all together right here. And then with that XMP profile, or I guess that's not even that. And with the new miner, we're sitting at 127 watts. So hash rate wise, it does nothing. All right, so I am turned up now to 5.3 gigahertz at 1.25 volts. And we can see we're rocking 95 degrees here and about 270 watts at the wall. Now with the default miner, we are around 13 kilohash in terms of hash rate. Okay, and on the new miner here at 5.3 gigahertz, 1.25 volts, we're hanging out at about 102 degrees. At the wall, we're pulling about 295 watts or so, which is quite a big jump here. And for hash rate, we're rocking about 20 to 20.5 kilohash. So a nice big jump in hash rate, but the power and the heat that's being produced because of it, kind of out of whack here. We're using quite a bit, and I really don't think it's worth running the CPUs at this type of levels. All right, so let's run through our numbers again, then we'll look at some profitability here. But as we can see, hash to watt ratios I just added in as well, but overclocking this thing definitely dropped that hash to watt ratio down to 48.14 hashes per watt. That means per watt used, you're doing 48.14 hashes. And then with the new miner, it's 69.49, which is greatly reduction from what we have with our efficient settings. So our highest hash to watt ratio is obviously on the newest miner, and it is with a single stick and expo profile off. Now with the default miner, that is 81.81, and the new miner is 122.83. Now, like I said at the very beginning of this video, I do have to run the test to see, is this new miner actually paying out the blocks that it is? You also got to keep in mind there's a 10% dev fee for this miner, which means for every 100 minutes, this will mine for 10 minutes to the dev. Now, if that's reducing some of the block times, maybe, I don't know, but I don't know the numbers. But pure hash rate and miner speculative here, it looks like the new miner is destroying the original in terms of efficiency and hash rate. But until I get the test done to see, are you actually finding enough blocks to cater for this, or is it worth it? Because some reports are saying that the original miner is still finding more. So we'll see what happens. I'll update you guys somewhere down in a couple weeks time or something after I run some VPSs and so on and properly test this out. Okay, so let's look at profitability with the default miner. So 9.9 kilohash at the RabidMining.com CPU mining calculator here. It does look like at 11-cent power, 121 watts, is $1.18 before power and 86 cents after power at the current hash rate and difficulty. Now it looks like the network hash rate is down. It has been over 200 mega hash the past little bit here, so keep that in mind while looking at these numbers. The network hash rate is kind of down right now, and this will dramatically change. Dero has actually been in the third or fourth spot the past couple of weeks, but right now it's looking like it's way up there. Let's take a look at the new miner. And now I have the new Astrobot Dero miner in at 15.5 kilohash at 127 watts, 11 cents per kilowatt hour. That is 100. I wish it was 100. So that's $1.51 after power and $1.85 before power. So like I said, this is extremely profitable right now, but if you move your rigs to it, it might not be at the point in time. The network hash rate is down right now. So, but right now, you know, Dero is a very profitable coin to mine on CPUs, especially with an efficient monster like the 7950X. All right, guys, so that pretty much does wrap up this video with my 7950X Dero testing. I will be testing the nodes and how well this new miner really does perform in terms of finding blocks on your own. But if you haven't checked out my other 7950 techs on Ghost Rider or XMR, be sure to check them out. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.